What's going on with you? What's crack-a-lackin', Michael Jackson? So I am with my son here, and today we are going to be going to North Jersey. We're going to be aligning and corner balancing, hopefully, my my Civic, and so we have it on the trailer outside, and yeah, it's going to be a 2-hour ride to get up there, and so gonna have to leave this guy. I hate leaving him. I love this guy. I'm gonna be leaving him for a week while I'm at Champs, and my brother and my mom are gonna be watching him. But I love this little guy. He's so cool. Give me a kiss. It is a nice, quiet morning out here in South Jersey. So I'm really glad that I loaded this up yesterday because it was Friday afternoon, Friday evening, and everybody was out. My neighbors were playing in their band. Car alarms were going off, and so now it's nice and quiet. So I'm kind of glad I didn't load this up while everyone was, sleeping. So it's really nice out. But I did want to show you guys real quick. So I put a new hood vent on this car, so we no longer have an eBay hood vent on the car. And I got that from my buddy Diego. He designed that in CAD, and then he 3D printed it. So it should allow for some good suction from inside of the engine bay to reduce any lift. So I'm excited for that. And yeah, let's get going. Yo, so we are up in, I think, Parsippany, North Jersey, at my boy's shop. And we have the tow rig up here. So we towed up. Trailer's got a flat spot on one of the tires. I was trying to avoid a collision with a tractor trailer that was cutting me off. So that wasn't on the way here. That was another day. So I had to kind of like baby it up here, but it's okay. We'll baby it out the pit, see how it goes, But we got Emmanuel right there. That's my boy. And then I'm going to unload this thing, and then we're going to get it up in here, and then we're going to do the alignment, the corner balance. All right, so Emmanuel went and created a profile for me in his computer. We got some race ramps under this thing, and we got some scales. So we're gonna start out with corner balancing the car. Typically what you do is you set the ride height, and corner balancing is that, it's setting the ride height. And after you set the ride height, you get it kind of where you want it to be, then you play with the alignment. So the alignment, this car hasn't been aligned, yeah, I think since the beginning of the season. Yeah, it's got a crooked steering wheel. It's always got a crooked steering wheel. And so we are going to hopefully fix that. I don't care about the crooked steering wheel as long as it has a good alignment, like in terms of the tires pointing where they need to. But it hasn't actually been aligned in a very long time. And I had a hit to the rear of the car, so we aligned it with toe plates in the rear, so it needs some love. All right, so now what we're doing is we're getting some weight. This shop has weights here. It is primarily a race dedicated shop, which is pretty cool. Like, I've always wanted to own a shop, and I always thought like being a primarily race dedicated shop is like a no-no. But this shop is that. So we're gonna add some weight to simulate my body weight, but then also some weight to simulate the full amount of ballast that I'm gonna need in the car for racing. All right, so where are we at in the process, Emmanuel?
So we set tire pressure. Made sure to put your driver's weight, your ballast weight, and we accounted for how much you're going to be doing in terms of a time session. Now we just got to set the car down yet again and start tweaking before we touch anything. We want to get a base reading, so that's what we're doing right now.
Sick. All right, well, Emmanuel wants me to get him a caramel iced coffee, so I'm gonna go get him that. I'll probably get myself a decaf black coffee. Yeah, I'm sensitive to caffeine. I can't drink too much caffeine. unless I'm working out, I can't drink more than my 2 cups of coffee in the morning every day. If I'm working out, then I can drink like
2? I only drink 1.
Okay, stop flexing on me. So I came back from coffee and got Emmanuel here, and then we got Bookbinder here, and this is the GSR that we got as a spare motor in case the one in my car goes bad. So he picked this up. Thank you, Bookbinder. So now we're gonna put this in the truck, and Emmanuel has been working on the car very hard. I've been getting light and sweet coffees. So everybody serves their purpose in the world, I suppose. All right, so I went and I grabbed coffee, and we are, so basically what we did was we set the corner weights on the car, and then we attached the sway bar, and we're seeing basically, you know, what that does to the corner weights, and then we'll go from there. So yeah, everything seems to be going pretty well. I was telling Emmanuel, like, having a shop, like, this is one of the first times I've seen my car on a lift, and it's crazy. It's crazy, like, being able to walk under your car. I know it sounds stupid, because, like, it's kind of like duh, but, like, yeah, it's pretty crazy. And then having these race ramps so you can get under it, like, without killing yourself to set the ride height and everything, like, game changer. Really big game changer. So I gotta invest in some sort of setup like this, potentially build my own race ramps out of wood, or because I have a bunch of 2x4s, but yeah, this is dope. This is like the way to do things. All right, so here's another thing that I don't do very frequently, which is put this thing on an actual alignment rack. Normally I just string it up, and the problem with stringing it up is that unless you get the front and rear track widths perfect, you could have a little bit of error. And when you get to the level of driving where you're very competitive, 1/16 of an inch in an alignment makes a big difference. It could be the difference between a car that's slightly too tight or a car that's perfect, or a car that's slightly too loose and a car that's perfect. So when you're aligning it with string, you have to make sure that that base measurement is perfect, and if it's not, your alignment's not going to be perfect. So I'm essentially always measuring to what I always measure to, whether it's right or not, because it has to be repeatable. So with this machine, we'll basically be allowed to put real settings in there, settings like toe settings that I actually want to have, camber settings I actually want to have, and we'll be able to compare it to what reality is, because this machine, in theory, should be more realistic and more accurate than what I typically do. So. All right, so right now I'm making Emmanuel's life harder. Sorry, but yeah, so these cars are not max strut, so you can't adjust camber from the shock tower, and also you can get a ball joint to allow you to adjust camber from the bottom of these cars, but they typically only give you about 2.2 degrees of camber or so, and on a race tire on a car that has the camber gain that this has with the stock geometry suspension, it's not quite enough. So what Emmanuel is doing right now is he has the car jacked up in the air, which is a pain, because in order to have the alignment machine correctly calibrated, you need to sweep caster and then roll it forward and backwards every time you drop it down. So right now he is playing with the alignment at the very top. So these are some PCI camber arms. It's hard to see, but they're in there. And yeah, so these allow for like 3.5, 3.6 degrees of camber. In theory, you can cut them and get a little more. But yeah, so I swapped knuckles on this car. This knuckle should be new, and it should be good. I have a video out there about measuring knuckles. If you look on my YouTube, go watch them all, because then it'll get the count up. But then this is also a new knuckle. The alignment was pretty out of whack. I'm not surprised. So with that being said, the car should drive a lot better, but it's just a little bit of work to get there. So keep you guys updated. All right, so the car finally is aligned and the wheel is straight. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. So because we made such drastic changes to the alignment, unfortunately, we probably do have to put it back over on the scales and just double check that the corner balance did not get thrown off too much. And this is kind of part of the problem of doing this stuff without a shop. If I was doing this in my garage, I would be covered in sweat, angry, cursing, covered in dirt as well, and it would take twice as long, quite literally, because this iterative process is always necessary, especially when things are really far out of whack. But the iterative process gets made much easier when, instead of stringing up your car, you're attaching these little wheel mounts, and then instead of, you know, jacking up the car and getting on the floor and all this stuff, you're putting it on a lift, and then you're putting it on race ramps, and then you're putting it on scales instead of measuring with a tape measure. It's the pseudo corner balancing stuff that I've always done works, but this is like the real way to do it. Never thought I'd see this thing driving around on the road. How does it feel?
Feels very good.
Yeah? How does the, did you give it any gas?
Yeah. I didn't push it.
But I know that's fine. You gave it gas and it responded. It was okay. Then I don't need to worry about anything.
You're gonna drive it, because you know what? This steering wheel is straight now. So hopefully he likes it.
It feels straight. It normally doesn't, but it feels straight. Yeah. Straight? Yeah, it feels straight. Yeah. So now the one bad thing about, you know, having a fancy shop is that you can't smoke cigars in the shop. There's a fine line. See? No cigars past that line. Don't want to get the customer cars smelling like my car, because you get the customer car smelling like my car, they might drive too fast. It's funny because I'm telling myself that I'm a fast driver. Horse. Okay, so I did hop in the car and we checked the corner weights again and everything looks good. The only thing is this 3D printed hood vent is not doing too hot. So it's doing hot. It's not doing good. But we gotta, you know, hopefully that doesn't melt on my header. We will find out at pit. Worst case scenario, I will buy another floor vent. Well, it would be a floor vent on a hood. So I guess technically, well, it's like a flood vent. Flood vent. You're a hood vent. Horse. Sure. Dude.
Can you tell like the demographic of people who watch it?
Probably the demographic of people that watch my they probably are not that smart. I'm just kidding.
They just insulted you guys.
No, I just insulted them. No, I don't know actually. I don't really get a lot of views. I get like 100 views a video at most on average. Probably more around like 60, 70 on average.
We're starting out.
I mean, I'm on like vlog episode 78, and like I've been recording videos prior to that too. Alright, so we are done for the day. We're gonna go get some Chipotle. Yeah. Now I gotta go home and pack the car. So, get ready.
pain in the ass, but it is what it is. So
I'm coming for you.
coming for someone. All right, but anyway, I'm about to get
He
hit
knows
by
who he
this.
is.
I'm about to get hit by this Audi. So peace.